I'm the real life Hitch, just like the movie. I help men who are introverted and don't know how to flirt and talk to women gain authentic confidence and get a great girlfriend and eventually find love and find the one. And the reason I do this job is because I used to have all the problems that many men have. I did not know how to flirt. I didn't just live in the friend zone, I owned real estate there. I was the mayor of the friend zone. And I didn't get matches on Tinder and the dating apps. So I struggled with my dating life. And I'm also introverted. And it was hard for me to be outgoing and approach women and be confident. So I worked on all these things myself and fixed my own problems. And then once I cracked the code of what it takes for men and women to connect in an authentic win-win way, I said, I want to write a book about it, put it in a bottle and sell it to men so that they can find great partners and date with integrity and confidence and authenticity. And that's what the book's about.
And how many clients do you think have used your services so far?
I've personally worked one-on-one with hundreds of men, and many thousands have come through the various courses, groups, seminars that I've taught. So I've worked with thousands of men in 17 different countries. And I like to say that I don't just help men, I'm trying to help the women who meet these men so that they're meeting nice guys, they're meeting gentlemen, they're meeting men who know how to talk with women and connect with women in that authentic way. And what I found, your question's a great one. What I found is that no matter what country you're in, no matter what culture you're in, men and women all basically have the same dating problems and have the solutions are the same, whether you're my client in South Africa or India or here in New York City where I live. We all essentially, people are the same all over the world. And I want to help these men and women solve these problems and find love.
That's interesting. So, how many weddings you've been to?
My favorite wedding was I went to a wedding in Kentucky. Part of the wedding festivities was going fishing, and I had to take a knife and gut a fish as part of a wedding because my client who lives in Kentucky met his wife by working with me. So that was not that was not really what I expected to do, but at least it was an open bar. So as long as it's an open bar, I'll go to any client wedding.
So, Connell, how do you think our discussion today and the insights that you've been providing so far and hopefully will continue providing will help people in general with their dating?
I think I want to share the message I have for everyone. I mainly coach men, but this is a message that I also have for women as well. Any single person can get value from this simple tip. And if I could boil down everything I teach into one sentence, it would simply be radically authentic. Put your real self on the line when you're on a date or when you approach somebody or when you want to meet somebody. If you express yourself and you take actions from a place of authenticity, then you will begin to approach with confidence. You'll know the right things to say, and you can create genuine, real, vulnerable connections with people. So if you learn if I give you nothing else of value in this conversation, hopefully I'll give a lot of value. I want men and women to understand that there's nothing more attractive than putting your real, authentic self on the line with somebody. Because remember, you're not one in a million. You're not even one in a billion. You're one in 7 billion. You're completely unique and singular. And there are a lot of people out there who are going to be very attracted to you as long as they're meeting the real, authentic you. So my message is to date from a place of authenticity and putting in that real self, put those real cards on the table, and somebody's going to want to play cards with you.
Okay, Connell, question about some current pressing issues. Let's call them that. You know everything about the COVID-19 and the current situation and how much actually changed in the world with that. So we looked into the statistics, and the online statistics shows this. 53% apparently of all online dating and all online dating app users in the United States use apps, dating apps, way more during the pandemic than they've done before. So, what do you think is going to happen in the future? Will the dating landscape change? Will people continue dating online via apps more? Or will they go back to actual physical in person dating? What do you think? What's your take on that?
We all crave connection. As humans, we're wired to connect with each other. And when the pandemic began, all of a sudden we were not able to connect with people we love or want to love and be with in person because we were all locking down. So the pandemic sent us all to our phones even more than we already were. So that's understandable. Dating has become less about the physical and about looks and more about genuine human emotional connection, more about listening, more about being present and connecting emotionally rather than hooking up or connecting just physically. So, as bad as the pandemic has been, if you've been on apps or if you've just been doing a lot of Zoom calls and conversations, even if you don't know it, I think that you actually have been getting better potentially as a dater. Become a better listener and have we can become better at emotional connection. And when you go out on that first in real life date post pandemic, you're going to realize, wow, I'm more present, I'm better at listening, I'm better at seeing who someone is and showing them my real self. And that's actually going to help you when you start going on in real life dates again. So as bad as the pandemic has been for so many reasons, there have been a couple of silver linings. It's made us slow down and listen and become more emotionally connected instead of just physically connected or looking for hookups on Tinder.
So, in your experienced opinion, what's the main difference between online dating and offline dating?
Online dating isn't dating, it's marketing. You're not dating somebody until you meet them in person or get on the phone or have a video chat. That's more of a date. Until that moment, you're marketing yourself with the right photograph, the right bio, the right message. So, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they do their dating profile is they make a profile for them. But your profile is not for you. Your profile is for the woman or man who's on the other end of the app, who's swiping. Don't just look at your phone and say, oh, let me pick 3 random photos, throw them on there, and expect the matches to roll in. They won't. You need to think about your dating profile like a digital marketer. You have to become a really good marketer and say, what kind of photos show my best, authentic, attractive self? What is an opening line or what is a fact about me that might make my potential first date say, ooh, I want to swipe right on that guy? So online dating isn't even dating, it's marketing. So the reason why my book is called Dating Sucks But You Don't, it's because I coached a lot of men who would feel very rejected. They would say, oh, I don't get any dates. I don't get any matches. I guess I suck. I guess I'm not attractive. And I say, no, you don't suck. Your profile sucks. Your Tinder profile is awful, but you're a great guy. We just need to fix your marketing. So online dating isn't really dating.
Connell, do you think there are any actual risks involved in online dating? In other words, if someone, a man or a woman, is using a dating app, are there any risks at all associated with them? And what are they, if there are?
The biggest risk is an emotional one. Following my other point, if you take online dating personally and say, oh, I didn't get matches, so I must be unattractive or ugly or unworthy, you risk feeling rejected. You risk feeling unworthy and not good enough. And you want to be very protective of your own self-esteem and confidence and say, okay, maybe I'm not, if you're struggling on the dating apps, it's not you, it's your profile, it's your marketing. We need to fix the messaging. However, it's not you. So please don't fall into that trap of saying, oh man, I'm not good enough. For example, I had a client named Keith who came to me, mid 40s, divorced, doctor, very attractive catch. He was getting no matches on Hinge. and Bumble. And I looked at his first photograph and he said, "Oh, I guess I'm too old, I'm too ugly." And I said, "Keith, you're a handsome, successful doctor." And I looked at his profile, and his first photo was taken in his garage. It was dark. It was a selfie. He had four chins, and he wasn't even smiling. He looked like Dexter, the serial killer, in his kill room. And I said, "Keith, no wonder you're not getting any matches. Your photo, you look like you look like somebody who should be reported to the police." So we went outside. We put a nice button-down white shirt on. Took a beautiful portrait in good natural light. He smiled, and all of a sudden, he became much more attractive, much more marketable. Literally overnight, he had 13 matches waiting for him the next day on his Hinge and Bumble. And he's now married with a beautiful new baby. Don't if you're struggling on the dating apps, and most men do, don't mistake that for "I'm not good enough, I'm ugly." It's just about changing the photos, changing your marketing, and testing different things until you hit that sweet spot. And then you can start having dates and feeling a lot more confident about yourself.
So, based on your experience, could you please describe what are the most common mistakes associated with online dating? I'm sure you have some funny story about this.
The most important one is to not use dark, grainy selfies for your photo. Instead, you want it to be a portrait taken about roughly from the waist up with natural light, smiling, looking at the camera. And that first photo should almost always be an attractive portrait where you're well dressed, looking first date great. Don't wear sweatpants and pajamas. Wear what you're going to wear when you walk into that bar for the first date, because women want to see who they're going to meet. That's tip number one. Tip number two, no fishing photos of you holding a fish. Women don't want to date the captain from Jaws. They want to date their dream boyfriend type. So it's great if you're into fishing, but there's so many fish shots. Um, yeah, there's a chapter in my book called "It's Not You, It's the Halibut You're Holding: How to Fix Your Online Dating." That's the second tip. And the third tip is, here's a really good tip. On your, whether it's Tinder, Bumble, your profile, end it with a call to action. What is a call to action? In marketing, a call to action is when you say, "Hey, like and subscribe my YouTube channel," like you probably do, or "Call now," or "Click this button and get 10% off," right? At the end of your profile, you want to have a call to action, something that makes her or him want to write you back. For example, I'm dog shopping right now. And on my dating app profile, it says, "I'm puppy shopping. Should I get a rescue or a Frenchie?" And I get so many women who match with me, and then they write, "Oh, get a Frenchie. Oh no, get a rescue." So it's a conversation starter. So end your profile with a call to action. That makes it easy for him or her to know that first thing to write you. And you're making it easier for them to match with you, start a conversation, and then hopefully go on a date.
Connell, what dating trends do you think are popular nowadays?
Yes. One trend that I've seen is more and more people are, because of the pandemic, we have so much digital communication coming to us. And when you're doing online dating, you're going to run into some people who are not there to date. They say they are, but they're just looking for validation, or maybe they're lonely, or maybe they simply they're bored and they want to message back and forth. So that's why I have what I call the 12 text rule with my clients. Is I give them a rule and I say it takes about 12 text messages back and forth on a dating app to get to that point with another person where you can both say, "Hey, let's take this off of the app and talk on our phones and maybe have a date." And you want to ask the person out after about 12 messages. If you wait too much longer than that, you run the risk of just becoming their pen pal and giving them just the validation and the pen pal they want, but not showing that clear romantic interest. It's a small subset, but there's plenty of people who are just on dating apps just because they want to talk to somebody, but they're not necessarily looking to go out on a date. So we want to ask for that date sooner rather than later, just so you can get an answer and you can decide, hey, I'm going to go on a date with this person. The other thing I'm seeing is a lot more seniors dating. I'm 50. I know I look much younger and handsomer, but I'm 50. And there's a lot of trends and stats that show more. I believe there's more 50 plus singles in America than ever before. And they're on dating apps like Senior Singles. So we're seeing older people who are maybe divorced or widows or widowers, or just people who've been very career based. And all of a sudden they turn 50 plus and they think, oh no, I don't want to be alone. I need love. So I think it's great that we're seeing the senior set embrace online dating. Not all of them are that good at it, which is why I'm here to help. um, but we're seeing more and more older people move to the dating apps. So those are two trends I've seen a lot in the last 2 years.
Another interesting question that I have for you, are you familiar with the hashtag MeToo Era? Okay, you are. Good. So dating in this MeToo thing, what should people consider?
I would say it's about 5 or 6 years old, and it's about understanding what women and girls have been through in our society in the area of harassment, sexual assault, and just understanding the challenges that women have faced. And I think the chapter in my book that I'm most proud of, the 13th chapter in my book, is about how to date in the Me Too era for men. Because dating in the Me Too era, it's mainly an issue for women, obviously. At the same time, it impacts single men. And a lot of single men get stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, most men, the vast majority, are nice guys who don't want to harass women. They don't want to be inappropriate. They don't want to get in trouble or make women feel uncomfortable. At the same time, as men, we're taught to make moves and go for that kiss and be a man. And if we don't do that, we're afraid of getting stuck in the friend zone and having a woman not want to date us. So we're stuck between don't harass and be creepy, don't get in the friend zone. And guys are like, what do I do? So here's a couple tips. First, know, guys, that it's okay to be, quote, be a man. You can still flirt. You can hold the door open. You can hold her hand at the right time. Yes, you can go for a kiss at the right time on a date. That's okay. Women still want men to be men. It's not, the Me Too era does not mean that women say, don't make a move or go for it. It's more about being incredibly empathetic and present to how women are feeling with you and having a sense for noticing how the date is going, knowing when the right time is to go for that kiss, to make the flirtatious but not vulgar comment. My first tip for men is just remember it's okay. Women still want us to be men. It's okay. We want to add empathy, however. We want to date and flirt with lots of empathy and presence, and always notice how the woman you're with, your date, is feeling to the best of your ability.
So, how can people determine whether something is a bot or a fake profile while using a dating app?
Unfortunately, scams are part of dating apps. I've been on a dozen different dating apps myself, either as a single or as a dating coach testing different things. I've never seen a dating app or a platform that didn't have some scam slip through the cracks. So it's going to happen. We have to accept it. It's just there. In terms of what to watch for, there's a few dead giveaways. One is if they write nothing in their bio, if there's nothing written about them, it's just photos of very attractive people without any personality, that's a possible suggestion that it's not a real person. It's too good to be true. Scammers typically don't write very much in terms of a bio. So if you see no bio or very little personality, it could be a sign of a scam. That's a red flag. Anytime anybody asks you for something monetary, hey, by the way, before we meet for our first date, I've talked with scammers who were trying to scam me. because I'm doing research and I'm trying to see their moves. I've had scammers say, and I knew it was a scammer when I was setting up the date. I just wanted to see how they did it. And I had a date set up with a woman, who knows who they were. And before the date, this person said, "Oh, but first, my little brother um, needs some money to buy some video games. Do you think you could Venmo me some money before our date so that you and I can be alone?" So they're going to ask you for money or ask you for something that is inappropriate to ask for. So that's a big red flag. If they ask you for anything other than, "Hey, where are we going to meet for our date?" That's a big red flag. And essentially, also just messaging back and forth, listen to your gut. Ask yourself, does this sound like a person? Does this sound like I'm talking to the person whose photos I'm looking at? Or does it seem just a little bit off? Oftentimes, I work and live in the United States, and oftentimes the language barrier of the scammer potentially is somebody from another country, and they don't talk like the person in the photos. The English might be broken. It might say, "I graduated from New York University and grew up in Ohio," but they don't talk like somebody from America. They talk like somebody from a foreign land. And it's fine to be somebody from a foreign land, but if your gut instinct says this person doesn't sound like their photos, that's another dead giveaway. So yeah, those are three ways to spot that. And if I could share one last tip, as I read in the Pew Research Center, 51% of men who have ever attempted online dating have never actually had a date in real life. Online dating is very challenging. It's very competitive. It's very easy to not get matches and dates, again, because your marketing is off. And also, there's just more men than women on the dating apps. So if you're struggling with getting any matches at all, the few matches you're going to get could be scammers, because scammers will swipe right on you and other people are mostly swiping left. So one of the reasons why we want to get our online dating profiles, get that marketing fixed, make it very compelling and attractive to real single people, is that if you're struggling with the apps, sometimes the only person you're going to match with is a scammer. So that's why you want to really focus on getting a profile, great photos, a good bio, understand how the app's algorithm works so that you get real matches in addition to the scammers. Because then once you sense the scammers, you can just delete them, flag them, report them, and go on real dates. So the extra painful part about online dating is if you're struggling to get any matches, the only people who are reaching out to you are scammers. And that's doubly painful because not only do you feel rejected, but you feel like, oh, scammers are the only ones out there. So that's why it's so important to really get your profile in that very attractive, um, marketable place.
All right, Connell. So during our conversation so far, you mentioned a number of dating apps. And I don't want you to like pick somebody, just the only one, and go with it. But surely, as an expert, you have your favorite dating app or two. So what is it?
Depends on what you're looking for, right? If you are looking to be a boyfriend and you're looking for a relationship, long-term commitment, I'm a big fan of Bumble, or girlfriend for that matter. Boyfriends, girlfriends, relationships, one-on-one monogamous dating. I'm a big fan of Bumble and Hinge. Those are both great. Um, I have coached with a dating app called The League, and The League is where I met my girlfriend, who I am in love with and crazy about. And I met her on The League. And The League is more for professionals who are, college graduates, um, travel, kind of like more of a higher sort of like top 20% sort of lifestyle app. The League is very good. If you are looking to hook up, if you're looking for more of a short-term fling, and I don't judge that, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're being honest with each other, there's Tinder. Tinder is obviously the hookup app. It's not that certain apps are better or worse than others. It's really about what you're looking for and also how you present yourself on that app. that is going to get you the success and the results that you want. So you want to ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to date? Am I looking for a long-term relationship? And what I would do is, most apps have free periods where you can check out the app and sort of see how it feels, navigate it, swipe a little bit, and you get a sense for whether or not you do or don't like the actual platform. My personal favorites were always Bumble. I do like Tinder. I have dated on Tinder a little bit. And Match. I'm still a fan of Match. Match is the granddaddy of them all. I first got good at online dating using Match. So it's really a matter of what you want and what app feels right to you. And then you tweak you channel your marketing for what works for that app. So for example, if I was going to go on Bumble, I would show Connell the boyfriend. If I was going to go on Tinder and I wanted something potentially more casual, or at least no strings attached, I might show my guitar and show more of an edgy kind of bachelor version of myself. So you can tailor your marketing, and it can still be authentic and real, but you tailor your market and message based on the app and also based on who you want to attract. And that's how I choose the dating app that I'm going to be on, or that's how my clients choose as well.
Connell, do you think that a paid membership increases the chances of a person to find a loved one, a significant other? In other words, to pay or not to pay, does it influence this dating success at all?
If your profile is not attractive enough, doesn't matter what you pay, it won't help. If you can get your profile, get good photos, get the kinds of messaging, in other words, make it marketable, make it compelling. In my book, I call it magnetic. Make yourself magnetic, authentically magnetic, but magnetic. If and when you get your profile to that magnetic place, then yes, I do recommend that you pay for the better tiers, because you're essentially paying to get your profile in front of more people, more attractive people. To be candid, most apps make you pay to put yourself out there to the more attractive singles. And if you have a good profile, then you'll be attracting some of these people. If you don't, paying for a higher tier is not probably going to help you. You'll just pay extra cash. But I do highly recommend you go for the top tier, if and only if you get that profile and photo in place. And again, not to market too hard to you, but my book has a whole chapter about, here are the steps to follow. Here are the photos you need. And I can give you some tips right now, but basically you want two really great portraits to start off your profile. If you're a man, if you're a single man. And that third photo should be what I call an awe photo, something that tugs at the heartstrings. So like portrait, here's my puppy dog, basically. That's a really good way to do your first three photos. I call it the 1, 2, 3 punch. Handsome, attractive portrait, number one photo. Another handsome, attractive portrait, but with different clothes and a different background. That's the second one. And then the third one, tug at the heartstrings. Puppy dog. Dancing with grandma at the wedding. At the zoo with an elephant trunk around you. Something to make people go, aw, that's so cute. That's the 1, 2, 3 punch. So you want really good photos and a good bio that has some personality, a good call to action, shows your real self. Once you do that, then I do recommend that you pay for the higher tier, because you're going to get better matches. You're going to get more singles to see you. And also the algorithm says, oh, this person's giving us some cash. We want to make them feel good and feel happy. We want them to match with the best possible people. So some people say to me, oh, I don't want to spend another 10 or 12 bucks, pay money. I mean, that's the price of one drink here in Manhattan. And it could mean a dozen or more good matches that you wouldn't have gotten. So I do recommend you pay for the higher tiers, only if you get those really good photos and that good bio in a good place.
All right, Connell, I think we could be talking for a long, long time here, but I probably talk too much and bore you with my questions. So, one last but not least question. What is your love advice to our consumers? What are your recommendations? What should we all do to find true love?
This message goes out mainly to men, but women also can learn from this too, which is to take some chances in real life. Get off the apps. Not forever. I love dating apps. And we've talked a lot about apps today. But guess what? It's okay to approach an attractive stranger and say hello, to be standing in line at Starbucks and ask the person next to you if you should get a latte or a mocha choca boca chino or whatever. To if you're a woman and you see an attractive man, to break the ice with him by complimenting maybe his style and giving him the green light to talk to you. Almost every single man who reaches out to me to work with me, he wants the permission to break the ice with, approach an attractive woman in real life and get off of the apps. At least have the ability, because think about it. What's more natural and normal, to walk up to an intriguing stranger and talk, or to take a box out of your pocket, swipe 100 times on people making duck face selfies, and press buttons and try to get a date? I would argue that it's much more normal and natural and healthy to just be out in the world meeting people. And so it's okay to approach, is my message. Uh, and the secret to doing it effectively is, don't focus on yourself. Is she going to like me? Will I get rejected? Will it go well? Instead, shift your focus to this. Ask yourself, how can I make that person's day a little better? Is there a compliment I can pay them? A joke I can crack? Something I can say to make them smile? That takes all the pressure off of whether or not you'll get rejected and makes it about, let me lighten that person's day a little bit. And that's a beautiful, elegant place to come from when we're out there looking to make connections, which is, how can I give them something that's going to improve their day? And guess what? When you approach an attractive stranger with the intention of giving something without agenda, there's a really good chance that they're going to like that and want to keep talking to you. And then who knows? You could give them that rom-com movie Hitch moment where you just meet in real life and all of a sudden you're on a date and you think, wow, it just happened in real life. And those are magical moments.